Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Jay from Investonomics, and it's that time of the week again. It's lecture time. So this week I'm going to be showing you how to master stock charts, and for all you investors and traders out there, this is the video for you. I hope you can learn something, learn how to analyze charts a little bit better, and I'll see you all next week. Welcome back, everybody, and today we're going to be learning how to master stock charts when it comes to investing. So knowing how to read, interpret, and analyze a stock chart will be a night and day difference when you're making investment decisions. First and foremost, you're going to need a good charting software tool, and this is really important if you want to get good at this. So some common choices include TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim platform, Webull, which is another one, and I personally use this, and Interactive Brokers, which have a software called Trader Workstation. So these are the most common ones. But it can also be a website and doesn't necessarily have to be an app, and some common ones include TradingView, Google Finance, Yahoo Finance, and Finviz.com. These are the most common ones I've found. So in order to find a stock, you're going to need to have its ticker, and this is a short abbreviation of the company name, and it's usually 1 to 5 capital letters, and this is used on the exchange to classify the company, and that's how it's listed. So having some knowledge of candlesticks, which we covered in trading video 2, we can more easily analyze stock charts, and we'll see this at the end of the video when I go through an example. For North American markets, they're open on Monday to Friday, and except statutory holidays, from 9:30 Eastern Time to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. There's also extended hours that include pre-market and aftermarket trading. Pre-market is before the market open, from 4 a.m. to 9:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and after hours is after the market closes, from 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So typically extended hours are not recommended for new traders and investors, and this is simply because there is low liquidity or lack of volume in the market at that time. So the price action that we see on a chart can be displayed in various different ways. So the most common, and the one I use, is a candlestick chart, which is what we've covered in the last video, and this is what we'll look at in the example as well. So there's also things called line charts, and this is a very common kind of chart used by Google Finance and Yahoo Finance, and they use this by default. Another is bar charts, baseline charts, and Heiken Ashi, which are available but not as common in practice, but they are available on most charting softwares in case you're interested. Under the chart, we have an option for many intraday, daily, weekly, and yearly timeframes for candlesticks, so you can choose from many different options as we've covered in the last video. The open, close, high, and low are very important concepts of an intraday chart. In the price quote, to the right of the chart and at the top, we have a lot of different information, and a lot of this I'll be covering here. So the market capitalization, which is also commonly called the market cap, is the current value and size of a company. So it's continuously calculated as the price changes because it's the number of outstanding shares available of that stock multiplied by the last stock price. Another concept that's commonly used for investing purposes and utilizes fundamental analysis is the PE ratio, or the price to earnings ratio, which you might know from your finance classes. Fundamental analysis is utilized by most investors, and it's done in order to determine which companies are over or undervalued, and this is where PE plays a role. The PE ratio offers a way to determine this subjectively. If the PE ratio is higher than similar companies in a specific sector, it's said to be overvalued. When the opposite is true and the PE ratio is lower than similar companies in an industry, the stock is said to be undervalued. The PE ratio is useful in finding worthwhile investments, and a lot of investors actually utilize it for this. So the PE ratio essentially breaks down how much an investor is paying per $1 of earnings of the company. So for example, if we have a PE ratio of 45, that means we're paying $45 for every $1 of earnings in terms of the stock price that you're paying. The next important concept is dividend yield, which is very important for dividend investors specifically. So it states in percentage terms of the stock price and how much of that is paid out as a dividend annually. So they're usually paid every quarter, and it's a cash payment. So for example, if a dividend yield is 1%, this means that if a stock price is $100, $1 is paid to the investor in cash each year, and this comes out to 25 cents per quarter. So as an Investonomics quick tip, many brokers offer a reinvest dividend option that instead of receiving a cash dividend, will actually reinvest the dividend amount, so it adds to the compounding effect of your holdings. And this is especially useful if you hold stocks for longer. The 52-week high and low is simply stated as the highest and lowest a stock's price reaches in the past 365 days, and this is respective to the high and lows. If you hover over a candle in your charting software, no matter what the time frame is, the chart shows the open, high, low, the close, and the volume traded, as well as the percentage change in that time frame, and this is usually at the top left corner that you can see this. The average volume is the average daily volume over the last 3 months. This is an average. And traders utilize this concept to find the relative volume, or volume on a particular day relative to the average volume, to determine interest in the stock that day and potential for momentum swings. The day range is another thing that pops up, and it indicates the price range in which the stock traded that day. Another important aspect that traders look at is the bid and ask data, and this is called level 1 or level 2 depending on your subscription, and it's also the market depth, and they're used to determine the best bid and ask at various price levels. So level 1 is what comes standard with most charting softwares, and it shows the current price, best bid and ask, and the size of each respective side. Level 2 on the other hand shows deeper information, and it shows it over many prices, and this forms a price ladder that moves based on where the price is currently. So traders like to utilize this tool to determine when and where buyers or sellers step up based on the ask and bid size, and this helps them to determine where to buy and sell their shares. Indicators can also be laid over the chart, and this is something you'll see very often, and they relay various types of information based on previous historical price levels. They can also be used to determine when to buy and sell, and there's over 500 of them available. And some common indicators include the RSI, the MACD, moving averages, exponential moving averages, and the volume weighted average price, also called VWAP. Additionally, charts have sections with news related to the stock, their financial statements, SEC filings and warrants related to the stock, an option wheel in order to trade options, which is a derivative of the stock, and the market depth, which has information about the bid, ask, and volume in detail. So overall, stock charts are very customizable, and everyone sets them up slightly differently, and that's okay because everybody trades and invests slightly differently as well. So I advise you to try various indicators and chart styles that best fit for you, and see what best fits your investing and trading style, and go from there. And now a quick example. Tesla that I pulled up here, which is a pretty popular stock these days. And we can see this interface here on Webull. And so here you can see Webull desktop. And here you can kind of see the layout that I've been presenting throughout the lecture today. So here on the top left, right here, we can see the quote of the price, and the percentage change during the day, and the dollar change as well. And here we can see the aftermarket hours. Since the market is closed today, it is Saturday, so this is how much it's moved to aftermarkets. Now here we can see the open, the high, and the low of that day, and you can see that these numbers are just prices that are posted here. We had the volume, so 28.2 million shares were traded. The previous close of the previous day, so we can see the difference between those two. And here we have the market cap that we talked about. So this is simply the last price times the number of shares available or outstanding. Here we have the average volume, which is 19.81 million, and we have a bunch more statistics that we can look at as well. Here's the PE ratio, which is 144, which is on the high end for sure. And we have the 52-week high and low, as we've talked about, as well as the dividend and dividend yield, which is available. I'm not aware that Tesla pays a dividend currently, so that might be the reason. Now here we can see the price ladder, and this is the level 1 or level 2. So you have the current price, and then the market isn't open right now, but that'll normally show you the bid and ask, and this is the best price and the best bid and ask spread. Here over to the left of the chart, we see a watch list that I built of blue chip stocks. You can build these however you want, it's just to kind of keep stocks organized. And if you hover above a candle, this is 5-minute candles that you can see at the bottom here. So at the bottom, there's always the different time frames of candles you can look at. So we can look at 1 minute. This will load at 1-minute candles. You can see the day seems way longer when you have 1-minute candles. You can also do 50-minute candles, and the day looks way shorter. But essentially, when you hover above a candlestick, at the top left, right here, it will show you exactly when the open is, the high was, the low and the close of that candle, so in that 50-minute time frame, and it'll show you the change as well as the volume. So these are all pretty useful metrics that you can use. I've also got the 21 period exponential moving average on this chart, and this is an indicator. You can choose whichever ones you like. I just like it to keep it simple. Lots of people don't like to use many indicators, but other people do. Again, it's all up to you. But so that's kind of the breakdown here of the chart. You can see in Eastern time here, the timestamps. The lighter gray is the pre-market and after hours that are shown here. You can also choose to remove this at the bottom right, and this will just show you the day, and it'll show you the gaps of when it closed and opened. And up here you can see all the different types of charts you can choose. So here's a line chart that I've talked about. You can choose hollow or normal candles, as well as a bar chart, a baseline chart, and Heikin-Ashi. So these are all the different types of charts you can choose. I prefer candles. You can configure it however you like, but that's just a look at these stock charts.